Lucky, come on up here. And the other one, Mr. Jimmy Hansen. Jimmy, come on up. And we have a podium for each of you.
All right.
And I will hand the...
No expense was spared.
Yeah. Anybody got a coin? Milt has a coin. Call.
There it is. Is it silver? Hold on to it.
Okay. All right, Jimmy, call it.
Heads.
It is tails. Lucky, would you like to go first or second?
I'll go second.
You go second, all right? Jimmy, you are up first.
Okay.
All right, hang on.
I didn't volunteer that for you.
This is not a donation? I'm sorry.
I signed up for the monthly donation.
All right.
That's good.
First of all, we are going to have an opening statement for each of the candidates, and then we will go to our questions. So, Jimmy?
Howdy folks, my name is Jimmy Hansen. I've lived in Utah for about 8-9 years. I moved here in the summer of 2013 to go to school at the U. My parents graduated from Orem High, so I come from Utah stock. Anywho's, I've loved living here in the state. I've always been kind of interested in politics. My first kind of breakout onto the scene was in 2008 with Ron Paul's campaign. I caucused for Ron Paul in 2008 and 2012 in the state of Missouri. I've supported Gary Johnson and Joe Jorgensen and Spike. And, you know, just as I've watched our society trend towards either, you know, blue or red, both trying to push more and more controls onto, you know, their populace and flex the, you know, the coercive power of government. You know, I think it's important to stand up and try to build consensus among the citizenry that we need to push back against that the government has very limited powers that we have given it, and those powers need to be clearly defined. And beyond those powers, they have no power. Some of the top issues for me, I hate, absolutely hate, it makes me sick when I see the military abuse that we have spread around the globe over the past 30 years. You know, the pictures coming out of Yemen and the Middle East and Ukraine, all these issues have been exacerbated and almost engineered by the people in power of our country to weaken our geopolitical foes and expand the military might of America. And they parade it under the guise of democracy and freedom. And if that's what democracy looks like, get it the hell away from me. I don't want it, and I don't want it. It makes me sick to see that pushed onto other countries. So I absolutely want to end that. Peace around the globe. And I think the best way to obtain peace around the globe is through free trade and open relations. And a free market. We need a free market system here in America. You know, we say land of the free, but this is not a free market. We have the largest population of incarcerated folks in jail. And so, you know, we talk about China and Russia, which, you know, very much there's things wrong in those countries, absolutely. But the fact that we have more people in jail than nations like that, I don't think we can stand up and say we're the land of the free. Our market is very regulated, what you can buy, what you can sell. Any two individuals should be able to enter into a contract with each other, consenting adults, like we have said. And, you know, we need a free market in the healthcare industry. Just came out a report last week. The life expectancy in the U.S. is at a 25-year low. And, you know, the healthcare industry is not going in the right direction. You know, I don't know if you follow the news closely at all. Joe Biden and Barack Obama got together about a week ago or earlier this week and had a big celebration of the Affordable Care Act and all the good things that it's done. And I just thought it was comical that in that same week, this report comes out that the life expectancy is at a 25-year low. So what we need to do is free the healthcare industry, give people the right to try whatever treatments and procedures they want to do, and give people the right to practice. We restricted so much. It's so hard to get primary care with a doctor or a nurse because there's so much red tape and paperwork in the way. And if we would remove that, people can have access to a doctor and healthcare. I'm very pro-environment. I absolutely think, we believe in the principle of non-aggression. And I absolutely think when you harm the environment, that is violating the principle of non-aggression. And I think people who pollute, we should absolutely hold those people or businesses accountable and prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to try to move the liberty movement forward and grow the party and expand the number of people who are seeking to limit the powers of the government and bring more freedom, not just to America, but to around the globe. Thank you.
Is there a, yeah, is it?
Test. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Lucky Troy Bovo, and I want to thank Barry and all the team for putting this together. This is a lot of work, Adam and Laura, and it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be able to run, and I couldn't pick a better candidate to run against. The fact that he's a teacher, and that's kind of where I started on my journey in this path. So I grew up in Sandy, and I was a terrible kid. And I broke more rules than I followed. And it was the teachers, I was in a foster home, and it was these good teachers that sat me aside and said, hey, in high school, what's your goals? And I've accomplished all those goals except for this one, become a senator. And here I am. It's been a long journey. I've been working towards this for many years. I went and joined the military, and I was in basic training 2001 when 9/11 happened. Everybody can remember where they were at when this happens. And so I never got to see any of the news. And I thought this was just a drill. They turned on the TV and they showed a plane hit the building and they said, move, private, we're going to war. And we kind of thought it was just, increasing training. Well, we went to war. And that's when I began my service. And I enlisted as a mechanic. I was a washing machine mechanic, 63 Juliet. And then quickly changed my job to become a helicopter pilot. And I moved to Hawaii for 5 years. Flew out there. It was beautiful. Yeah. National Guard out there. And then started my deployments. Went to Iraq in 07, 08. And, I was the top junior officer during the surge. And I got to see what we were really doing in Iraq. And personally, Saddam Hussein killed 100,000 women and children. And the U.S. has killed more than 1 million. And I'm ashamed of that. I'm ashamed to be a part of this. And it's like, what are we really doing with the military? If we don't have an actual war declaration from Congress, well, this is just a conflict. So I did another deployment to Iraq, and then another deployment to Kosovo, here with the Utah Guard. And then I went to California and I fought fires. I started a new federal program where we were flying Hueys at night, firefighting at night. Extremely effective. When we fight at night, the temperatures are the calmest and the winds are the winds are the calmest and the temperatures are the lowest. In the 50s and 60s, the only time they fought was during the night. So to see the effectiveness of firefighting and how it was working and was not working. So I've been a part of establishing, federal programs and working with them and changing them. And I'm excited to be running for, U.S. Senate. This is a big deal. After fighting fires, I went to the airlines and flew for the airlines for a bit. Now I've got a construction business, and I primarily work at the point of the mountain, paragliding, as an instructor, paramotor instructor, if anybody wants to learn to fly. And, the two things that I'm kind of really focused on in promoting libertarianism and growing this. So I want to end the suicides in the military. And I believe I know how, and I believe I can work towards it. I was there, I was on the brink, and I can relate. And it's, you know, there's a lot that can go into that for how I can do it. And the other thing is my appreciation for teachers. I think they're underpaid in the state of Utah, and I'd like to see the teacher salaries double. And using a free market system, and there's a bunch of different ways we can do it through a lotto or through wine sales in the gas station or Taco Bell. But it's hard seeing the teachers in the state paying for their own supplies and working so hard when they have their hands right there with the children. And I wouldn't be here without great teachers. So it's, you know, it's an honor for you to promote this party and to run against you.
Thank you, Lucky.
All right.